Are you ready to consider palliative care and the end-of-life experience? Are you ready to make a difference? What does dying mean to you? What does it mean to the person you care for? Are you ready to assist them on this journey? Are you ready to consider how you will feel when your client approaches the end of his or her life? Are you ready to consider how you can contribute in a positive way? As set out in the 1960 Canadian Bill of Rights, Canada is founded upon the dignity and worth of the human person. At the end of one's life, when they are most vulnerable, we must provide excellent care that is meaningful for that person. Are you ready? Are you ready to provide the care that every human is entitled to, a death that is free from as much distress as possible? 75% of Canadians die in acute care or long-term care environments, not in their own homes. This means that you may be accustomed to residents who will live and die in your workday. The end-of-life experience may be common in the day of a staff member, but it is not a typical day for the person who is dying. A few extra moments turns the typical day into a profound day. Think for a moment about the people that are most precious to you. A spouse, a child, perhaps a grandparent. You likely have a special moment that comes to mind. The funny way mom would make you feel better, the silly games grandpa would play, the soft way in which you held your child close to you. Have you ever been at the bedside of a critically ill person, someone who is dying? Did you touch their hand, kiss their cheek, speak softly? Did you feel that they knew you were there and were comforted, even if they could not express it? Now let's consider your workplace. I would like you to meet Gabriella. She is 94 years old. She is dying and lying in bed. That's right, in that bed at the end of the hall, in the corner. Now let's consider that Gabriella could be the person you love. Try to imagine the person you care for the most being in Gabriella's bed. And now the day begins. The PSW Jonathan has a busy day ahead. He quickly checks on Gabriella. She is still, eyes closed, breathing quietly. Not wanting to disturb her, he leaves quietly and gets ready for the 2 baths he has to do this morning. He doesn't know that Gabriella is cold and lonely. She would like to turn over, but just can't seem to make her legs work. Nothing works right anymore, she feels. She drifts off, thinking about her life. The housekeeper, seeing that Gabriella is sleeping, quickly mops around her bed. The mop bangs the bed a few times. The housekeeper, not wanting to disturb Gabriella, avoids touching the bed again. Gabriella drifts back from her memories. "What is that banging?" she says. "Oh my, the pain is worse. I will keep still. Maybe it will just go away." The dietary aide comes by and drops off a tray. She glances at Gabriella and smiles as she remembers this feisty lady who has lived here for years. She will miss her. She leaves very quietly as Gabriella sleeps. Gabriella drifts back to her memories, now of her mom and dad, the war, the child she lost. She feels sad. She feels cold. She hopes someone will come by soon. She remains still. Sue from Activation comes by and plugs in a DVD of old English hymns. Sue remembers how Gabriella loved hymns in church. Gabriella rouses a bit. "Music? I would love to hear the hymns of my church in Italy." She drifts off again. More noise. Talking? The doctor and nurse discuss Gabriella's situation while by her bed. The nurse says, "I have checked in on her a few times this morning. She has remained very still, but her breathing is shallower." The doctor says, "Several more hours, a day at the most. I will miss our Gabriella. She always made me laugh." What will happen to me now? Gabriella wonders. Will I die soon? As the hours go by, Gabriella is overcome with a feeling of being cold and alone. She can't keep track of her thoughts. Her mouth is dry, her hip is sore. She cries, but there are no tears. There are no sounds. Soon, everything is gone. Very shortly, the staff come by. The nurse confirms that Gabriella has died. She will call the doctor and the family. The staff cover Gabriella so very gently. They close the curtain and begin to pack her things. They are very careful with her belongings, and often each item brings back a memory of this lovely lady. Now for a moment, let's go back to your precious person that you were thinking of earlier. What will you be thinking as you pack that life into a box? It was clear that this team was very fond of Gabriella. They were quiet and gentle while around her bed. It is very difficult to know what Gabriella was thinking when she was so still and quiet. If you consider your loved one for a moment, what do you think they might be feeling in the last hours of their life? Do you think they might know you were there? We may never know. That's the hard part. The best we can do is consider what it might be like for our residents, family members, and even for ourselves in the last hours of our lives. Let's replay this day. Hi, Gabriella. This is Jonathan. I see you are sleeping. Sue and I will be by later to give you a nice sponge bath and turn you on your side. I will see you in a bit. As Jonathan speaks to Gabriella, he lays his hand softly on hers. This touch, hand on hand, is a basic human need that is as essential as food, air, and water. It tells Gabriella that she is valued. It is calming. Pain relief can be achieved with meeting the needs of the heart through talk and touch. Every person who goes to her bedside can touch her hand, her forehead, or her cheek. A gentle touch, held for a few moments, a few words just to let her know that you are there. She will feel less alone.
Oops, I'm so sorry, Gabriella. It's Mary. I'm the housekeeper. I knocked into your bed with the mop, Gabriella. You know, I remember those days when you used to help me dust. Those days were lots of fun. Hi, Gabriella. It's Samantha, the dietary aide. I brought you some warm water. I know you like it that way. The PSW will be by soon to help you with it.
During Gabriella's life, your care was individualized and music was a part of it. You remembered that she loved hymns. Often, as individuals approach the end of their lives, and in particular if they have dementia, they prefer to use their first language. It would be lovely if the hymns or stories were in Italian for Gabriella. By doing so, you appeal to her sense of where she came from, memories of her childhood, and something familiar. It eases the feeling of being alone and scared. As the body shuts down, food and fluids may not be desired. However, a mouth which is dry and crusted creates distress. Mouth care and moisturizing lips provides for much-needed comfort. Jonathan provides mouth care several times a day. Pain is complicated and has a basis in both the physical causes as well as the psychosocial causes. As you learned, talk, touch, hygiene, and music are just a few examples of how meeting psychosocial needs for love and belonging can ease pain, both physical and emotional. These are called non-pharmacological means of pain management. In other words, interventions that do not involve medication. Interventions that anyone can do. These interventions might be enough, but the frontline team can assist the nurse in identifying when more is needed. Jonathan approaches the nurse. When we gave Gabriella a sponge bath, she grimaced and moaned when we turned her on her side. The nurse responds, "Thanks, Jonathan. She does have something ordered for pain. I will follow up." When the nurse and the doctor come to Gabriella's bedside, they spend a few more moments to see if the medication is working. The doctor speaks to Gabriella. "We gave you some medication for pain earlier and it seems to be working, but the nurse will check on you again and give you more if you need it." Gabriella does not move, but in her own mind she says, "Thank you." We may not know if Gabriella can hear or understand the doctor. We may not know if she is experiencing pain while she is lying so still. But if she can hear and she does feel better with the pain medication, imagine how peaceful she feels knowing that the nurse will look after her if she needs more. Reducing that worry alone will ease her discomfort. This day was more than a typical day for you. Gabriella, special and loved by others in her life, needed you, and you were there. Your few moments reminded her that she was valued and not alone. Her journey was peaceful. As a staff member, it is difficult to care for people who are dying. You may feel sad and overwhelmed. Hopefully, by taking those extra few moments, you will feel that you touched someone else in a profound way. You will leave your typical day with a sense of being a kind person who helped someone on her end-of-life journey. Thank you for listening and for taking a few moments to experience the life of Gabriella as it was touched by you.